I mean, well, let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard
Okay.
me. Is
Okay.
the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL scripted.
No, I'm
So we're
not.
going all the way that way.
I'm
All
not
the way
getting
with
into
the
all the other
conspiracy theory.
conspiracies, but sometimes when you start labeling yourself sports entertainment and there's billions of dollars on the line, I don't believe there's not some people, blowing some wind in the sail to make the boat move, if that makes sense.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, everybody? What's happening? Welcome back to Big B Daily. This is your man, Big B. Brien Hanley. What is happening? We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy Friday, man. It's a good Friday today. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. So I'm under the weather a little bit, but I'm fighting. These cough drops are working wonders. Bear with me. Bear with me. But I'm fighting it. So we're going to get through this thing today. We're going to have some fun today. Again, it's Friday. We're all feeling good, man. Talking a little Nuggets, flexing on the Celtics. Fraud of the week. And then, we always got our list on Friday. So today we got the top 5 inside linebackers of all time. We are going through that today. So let's get through it. As always, again, if you're on TikTok, we got a couple of things, though. Quick announcements. First off, keep tapping the screen. We need at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. Second thing is click on the link in my bio. There's 2 things. Click on the link. Go buy you a March Madness guide. March Madness is right around the corner. It's only $5. Get you a guide to help you win the bracket. You can help yourself win the Big B Challenge. All that good stuff we are going to be doing. We'll get it all set up here next week. But go buy you a Big B March Madness guide. Basically a guide to help you win. We appreciate it. Like I said, it's only $5. Click the link in the bio. But more importantly, if you subscribe, then you get it free. So all you have to do is subscribe on here. So go ahead and click subscribe on TikTok and go and buy. If you're on YouTube, go to bigbmerch.com. Go there and buy yourself or better yet, just go to the link that's in my bio on YouTube. Go to that link and click on that and go buy you and go to the store at tab, buy you a Big B March Madness guide. Everybody go pick you up one. Like I said, it's only $5. If you're on TikTok and you subscribe, you get it for free. Very, very simple, people. Very, very simple. So let's get into this a little bit. Like I said, TikTok, please give us a follow if you're not already, and subscribe over on YouTube. Same thing. Anybody that's looking at YouTube and hasn't subscribed, please do. We appreciate it. Let's get into the show. The Nuggets, again, flexing on the Celtics. Lord have mercy. Look, we want to give the Celtics. The Celtics are doing everything to try to put themselves in a position to win a title. But when they go up against the best teams in the West, they lose. I mean, come on. What's going on with Jason Tatum? Why Jason Tatum? How come always in the biggest moments against the best teams, this guy comes up small? What are we doing? People keep talking about he's the MVP this year. No, he is not. We've got to stop. We got to stop anointing people. How the hell is he the MVP? Again, I'm not saying that last night's game was game 7 of the finals. But it's a big game for NBA standards this early in the season. And that's what you do? Whew. Yes, my man on TikTok, Jokic is the MVP. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again. He's going to win it again. And he deserves to win it again. But I think we've come to the realization is that these good teams, they're just better than the Celtics in the West. They're just better than they are. You know, the Celtics are eating up on teams like Philly, which even with Embiid, Philly wasn't great. Miami's okay. I want to see what Miami looks like in the playoffs once Rozier's got a lot more games under his belt. Milwaukee can't guard anybody. You know, they're playing a little bit better, but they still can't guard anybody. Do we really believe that Milwaukee's going to beat anybody out west? No. So it's just crazy. If my sunglasses are annoying, come on, Tim. You're in here watching, my man. Be better. Be better. But yeah, man, I'm not sure about Boston. I'm just not sold. So, yeah, people talking about Milwaukee should have kept Drew Holiday. I mean, it's give and take, man. It's give and take. You got better offensively, but your defense took a nosedive. Just a nosedive. So, the Thunder is the one team nobody wants. Now, plenty of teams want to play Oklahoma City in the playoffs, man. No, they'd have no experience. There's plenty of teams that will be more than happy to play Oklahoma City in the playoffs. So, I think the Thunder are really good, but playoff basketball is different. It's different. And when you have no experience and you're that young, it'll show up. Am I rooting against the Thunder? No, because I like the Thunder. But, yeah, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Boston, here's a good comment over on YouTube. Boston is the Utah Jazz of now, but at least Utah got to the dance. That's true. Boston's been there once. But, yeah, we're going to have to see because I'm tired of the guys coming up short. I mean, what's enough to say that it's not working? I mean, Boston has a big four. We do realize that Boston has a big four, right? And they got a really good team. I'm just not sure it's enough. I'm not sure it's enough. So we will find out. We will find out. My man Pat Cockrell says, I'm still campaigning for SGA for MVP. 40-plus games with 30 or more points, averaging 30 points per game, leading that young squad to the top of the West. Screams MVP to him. Anybody have any objections with SGA being in the MVP talk? Because I don't. I think he deserves the talk. I don't know if he's going to win the award or he even should win the award. But I think he's got to at least be in the talk. So, somebody's talking about the Lakers. Let's not talk about the Lakers. Lakers mean nothing. The Lakers are not winning anything. They're not winning anything. They don't shoot it well enough. They don't play enough defense. I know. Let's blame LeBron. It's all LeBron's fault, so let's just get that out there early. But, yeah, the Lakers aren't going to win anything. They're not going to win anything. Excuse me. Yeah, the Lakers. I don't even know why somebody brought Lakers up. Don't know. So, but it is what it is. But, yeah, the Nuggets are just better. The Nuggets are kind of just biding their time. They're starting to play even better than what they were earlier in the season. And with Cat out, Minnesota, I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets just don't end up the number one seed again. And maybe they don't even care about that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't end up number one seed. I would not be surprised at all. So we'll see how it all turns out. But the Nuggets, again, just pushing Boston around. You know, Jason Tatum, I like Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is an outstanding basketball player. But at some point, don't you have to be the man in the game to be that? Like, don't you have to be that guy? When is Jason Tatum going to show up and be that guy? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, and who can stop the Nuggets, Chuck? I don't know. I don't know. Definitely not Golden State. No, not Golden State. Yeah, I'm not sure anybody can stop the Nuggets. The one team that might be able to, if they can keep it together and stay healthy, are the Clippers. Now, I know that's a big if, talking about them staying healthy. But the Timberwolves cannot. Nope. The Timberwolves cannot, especially without Karl Anthony Towns. They're not beating anybody. So, excuse me. That's the problem. Somebody says Boston stopped themselves. That's the problem. Boston always stops themselves. They always get to this big point and they stop themselves. This is not a one-time occurrence. This is not a one-off. They always do. Sloppy play. Missing a ton of free throws. They always get to this point or a big game like this and they stop themselves. So, and yes, somebody said Capone, ex-Capone actually, is that the Nuggets are not going to fold under pressure. And a team like the Thunder, who's never been there before, they probably will. Somebody said if the Celtics get Larry Bird back, they'll win. I mean, you're right. But Darren Howard on YouTube, he says the Lakers are stuck in the mud. They're the same team, same problems. And AD still doesn't want the steering wheel. I mean, the Lakers are they're just pathetic. I know it's all LeBron's fault. Before anybody says it, blame LeBron. But, yeah, the Lakers, I don't even bring them up unless you all want to bring them up because the fraud of the week is not the Lakers. We'll get to that. But I don't know. I'm out on the Jason Tatum thing. I'm out. Until he does it in the big game, I don't want to hear it. Y'all know how hard I am on guys if they come up small in big moments. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So somebody said that Jason Tatum doesn't deserve superstar status. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think he's a star, but I mean, is that what we're saying, that Jason Tatum's not a superstar? Huh. That's interesting. I don't know that I disagree. He's an all-star, but superstar is different. Superstar is different, and there's definitely levels to it. And I'm not saying that he's a superstar as of yet. Yeah, not yet. He can get there, but at some point, here's the thing. We keep saying, oh, man, they're young. I'm like, but at some point, they got to start elevating some stuff because they haven't just been in the league. Him and Brown haven't been in the league 2 or 3 years. They've been in the league for a while. And I get it. They came in when they were young. But at some point, when do you take the next step? So that's all I got to say. Got to show more leadership, success in the playoffs before he's a superstar. I agree with that, Riley. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I agree with that. Yeah. Got to show more leadership in the playoffs. Got to get it done. Or better yet, when your team needs you in the big game, put your team on your back. Do that. Put your team on your back. That's all. Sometimes you come up, if you put your team on your back and the other team is just better, people are smart enough to recognize that. But when you don't, and then you lose, that's where people have a problem. Yes, James, you're right. He can't hide in the finals. You're exactly right. So superstar should elevate his team. Yeah. So hopefully he can get there. Because again, we're not rooting against it. We just haven't seen it. That's all. Let's move on. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily. Thank everybody for coming. We are live on TikTok and we are live on YouTube, man. Again, as a reminder, go pick up your March Madness guide. Big B's March Madness guide. It's very simple. It's in the link in my bio on YouTube and in TikTok. You click on it on YouTube, click on it, go pick it up. It's $5. Same thing on TikTok. Go pick it up. It's $5. But if you subscribe, which I suggest that you do, you can use a promo code and it's free. Very, very simple. So, next thing is, what was the fraud of the week? Now, most of the time I let you guys decide who the fraud of the week is. And we're going to do the same thing today. Who is the fraud of the week? Now, again, I always clarify this. To be considered a fraud, you have to be considered good. So don't go throwing out all this garbage. Somebody throwing out this screaming the Celtics. They didn't play like frauds. They lost a game, but I wouldn't say they played like fraud. Now, you could say Jason Tatum. But the Celtics had an opportunity to win the game. But you could say Jason Tatum. But I wouldn't say that the Celtics are frauds. So that's all I'm saying. So what about Tyrese Halliburton? You all saw that game he had. Doesn't Tyrese Halliburton have to dip into fraud of the week? Or is it the Denver Broncos? I know some people said the Broncos. My thing is it Russell Wilson's contract? So, I don't know. I think Tyrese Halliburton, that's a good one. No points? None? Broncos front office? Yeah. The Broncos front office, I think, has got to be leading the way for what they have put them under. So, for what they have put him under, or put the Broncos under, that's tough. Anything else? Any other frauds of the week that you guys can think of that makes sense? Oh, man. My man Wakan, he said the person yesterday who said that Winston was a top 5 QB in the NFL. What was his name? I think it was Demon. It was Demon something. That I don't even know if that classifies as a fraud. That just classifies as they're going to lock you up in a padded room. They're going to put you in a padded room and throw away the key and just say, we can't let this guy out for a decade. We don't know what's wrong with him. But he said that Jameis Winston was a top 5 quarterback in the league. We got to leave him in here. So, that was wild. That was wild yesterday. Absolutely wild. So, I think the fraud of the week, if it's me, I think we're going to go with Russell Wilson, his contract. Not Russell Wilson himself, but the Russell Wilson contract. I didn't realize this until I heard it yesterday, that his extension didn't even kick in until this year. Which basically means that the Broncos didn't have to sign him to a new extension when they traded for him. They could have just let him play out the 2 remaining years on his contract and could have been done with it. But instead, they signed him to an extension. He's not going to play not one snap under the extension, and they got to eat $85 million in dead cap space over the next 2 years. Somebody tried to tell me that wasn't the worst trade of all time. Yes, it is. The worst trade of all time. Don't tell me about the Herschel Walker trade. It made Dallas very good, but Minnesota was also good. Not Dallas good, but Minnesota didn't stink. When they got Herschel Walker, they got better. So they didn't stink. Then people say, well, what about the John Elway trade? Hell, they traded. Chris Henson was an all-pro. Tell me the all-pro that Denver got in this trade. Ain't getting no all-pros. So, yeah, this is the worst trade. It's worse than Trey Lance. It's worse than Trey Lance. The reason being is because of everything they had to give up, plus the money that you gave them. So, Trey Lance was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was bad. But they didn't have to give him all that money. They gave, what was it? I think it was like $125 million or $145, one of the two, that Russell Wilson received from the Broncos. So, that to me is the fraud of the week. Let's just say the GM for the Denver Broncos. Brutal. Just brutal. We're going to move on. So, and again, everybody, we appreciate it. If you're on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. We need at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. So if you're in here and not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate everybody in here. My man Darren Howard said that trade was at. Basically, that trade was ass. And I'm still interested to see what's happening. I mean, that whole Fields thing and what's going on, I just it's all going to be interesting to see where Russell Wilson's going to go. But we'll get to that here in the open mic session. So here we go. Top 5 linebacker or inside linebackers, or just say middle linebackers of all time. Top 5. A lot of people out there. This is my list. We'll go from 5 to 1. 5 to 1. Junior Seau, number 5. Junior Seau, number 5. LT is an outside linebacker. He doesn't qualify. Ronnie Lott, you're not watching enough football if you think Ronnie Lott. He was a safety. Number 4, Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert, number 4. Great Pittsburgh Steeler. Was basically the first really good coverage linebacker in the National Football League. Number 3, Mike Singletary. Singletary was good. Not good. Singletary was great. One of the most overrated defenses in the history of professional football, the 85 Bears. And I know y'all are going to come after me. Come after me. They were ahead of their time until they weren't. And they were so good, they could only muster one title. Number 2 is Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus, number 2. He was a man's man. That was back when you could kill a man on a football field, and that was okay. When Dick Butkus played, when you could literally kill somebody, and all they did was scrape them up, moved them off the field, and you went to the next play. I know that seems harsh. Oh, man, B, what are you talking about? That's how they played football back in those days. Just whatever worked. If you got to twist a guy's neck to get him down, then you do it. Break a guy. I mean, they played brutal football. Just brutal football. That was Dick Butkus. And he was big, and he was fast, and he was mean. People don't realize that about Dick Butkus. He was a big dude playing middle linebacker. And number 1 is Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis. So, Ray Lewis was crazy good, super fast, smart, understood where people were going to be. He understood the game of football. Ray Lewis. And because middle linebacker is a thinking man's position for the most part, and he was a thinking man's linebacker to go along with all his physical attributes. He was that good. So let's go in order. Number 1, Ray Lewis. Number 2, Dick Butkus. Number 3, Mike Singletary. Number 4, Jack Lambert. Number 5, Junior Seau. I think Seau is underrated. I think Junior Seau is underrated. I think for a lot because he played all those years in San Diego for the Chargers. But I think Seau goes underrated. He does. Luke Kuechly, I really like. I thought about putting him in at number 5. I think both Seau and Kuechly are better than Urlacher. And not to say that Urlacher wasn't good. I just think those guys were better than he is. So, who was a good all-around person? Seau? Yeah, he was. He was. So, yeah, I just like Seau. I think he's underrated. I think he's really underrated. So, I think he's one of the best middle linebackers, one of the best linebackers, period. He goes underrated. But there's a lot of middle linebackers. You could have said Patrick Willis. That's another guy we could have put in there. You know, I had Lambert. I got Jack Lambert at 4. Troy was super good, but Troy was a safety. If you're talking about Troy Polamalu, he was a safety. So, current best inside linebacker, Nick Bolton's got to be. And no, Nick Bolton is not the best current inside linebacker. No, he is not. He's not in the same class as Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. He is not in their class. Not even, no. Fred Warner and Roquan Smith, and then everybody else. Currently. And I'm not saying Bolton's not good, because he is, but let's be honest. He's not one of the top inside or middle linebackers that is playing football right now. He's not in I shouldn't say that. Let me backtrack. He could be in the top 10, but the top 2, the separation between 2 and 3 is great. It's difference between 2 and 3. The difference there is greater than 3 and 7. So, but that's current linebackers. But overall, to me, the best middle linebackers to ever play, ever. Number 1, Ray Lewis. Number 2, Dick Butkus. Number 3, Mike Singletary. Number 4, Jack Lambert. And number 5, Junior Seau. And Seau, to me, is one of the more underrated defensive players that we got. And again, I know it's because of how he played, or where he played, not how he played, but where he played. I get that. Wakan says Ray Nitschke is top 5, and he has Seau at 6. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Nitschke. It's not that Nitschke wasn't any good, but they didn't let everybody play when Nitschke was playing, if you know what I mean. And I always, and maybe that's wrong of me to knock somebody because it wasn't their fault per se. But when you don't let everybody in and you're the best at something, it's hard for me to give you that moniker. You know, it's like Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, a lot of people say he was the best baseball player ever. But, I mean, he didn't play against all the best baseball players. And again, I'm not saying that it was his fault. I'm just saying, but he didn't play against all the best baseball players. So it's hard for me to go that route and say that he's the best when I don't know that he's the best. That's all I'm saying. So, could Butkus play today? I don't know if Butkus could play today the way the rules are. I say that, but my thing is he probably just would have adapted. He probably would have just adapted. And to the way that the rules are played. So the one thing about Butkus could run. I mean, Butkus could cover guys. So, yeah, I think he could play today. First of all, he was big. He was mean. Now defenses were a lot more simple back in those days. They didn't have the complex passing game and they didn't have the complex running schemes. So things were a lot more simple back in those days. But that doesn't mean he wasn't smart and didn't know the game, though. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean he wasn't smart. Didn't mean he didn't know the game. It just means that they were just different. Excuse me. They were just different. So, but I definitely like Butkus. I like this list. Like I said, there's guys like Luke Kuechly, I think, was outstanding. Too bad his career got cut short. Patrick Willis. Too bad he cut his own career short because he's like, I've been beat up. Enough is enough. I respect guys that do that. I respect guys that do that. So that's my whole thing. I respect a lot of those guys that are out there that say, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I respect it. And Patrick Willis was super good too. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk was good, but he's not in this category. AJ Hawk was a good linebacker, but he's not in this category. We can't say AJ Hawk and Patrick Willis in the same conversation as far as how good they were. It's not fair to AJ Hawk. It's not fair to Patrick Willis either, because Patrick Willis was that good. Same thing with Luke Kuechly. Yeah. Can't do that. Can't do that. Let me ask you guys this question. Here's somebody else that goes really underrated. Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas. Played all those years in Miami. Was Zach Thomas that guy? He was a tackling machine, man. He was a tackling machine. Zach Thomas was. Got underrated, really underrated. Yeah. But yeah, he was a tackling fool. Tackling fool. I like Zach Thomas. Undersized, hard-nosed, ran to the football. Yeah, people look over him because of his size. Zach was very underrated. Very underrated. I like Zach Thomas. So, now, Pat Cockrell, you're going too far, but I get why. Because you're a diehard Red Raider. He said Zach Thomas is my GOAT. But you know me, Big B. I'm biased towards my Red Raiders. I get it, my man. I get it. But the thing about it is, Zach Thomas he's so much underrated that people act like, or some people act like he wasn't any good. And I'm like, hold on. He was very good. Very good. So to me, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, no, not Cushing was a steroid head. So I don't count anything that Cushing does. Derek Johnson, he was good. He was underrated too. Thing about Derek Johnson, he came into the league and had to learn not to run around blocks. And he learned it and then was good. So Bobby Wagner, outstanding. He's also another person in that Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis mold. He's in that conversation. He is in that conversation. So we'll push it on to open mic session here. So again, everybody, just as a reminder, if you're on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. We need at least 30 new follows and at least 5,000 likes. So keep tapping the screen. We appreciate everybody in here. And if you're not subscribed on YouTube, please do. Everybody go and pick yourself up a Big B's March Madness guide. The link is in my bio on YouTube and in TikTok. Go pick yourself up one. Get one for you. Get one for your buddy. It's literally $5. It's an ebook. So it's an ebook, and it's very, very simple. Very simple. You know, I mean, you don't have to wait for any shipping. You don't have to wait for it to get to you. All it is, as soon as you buy it, you download it immediately. It comes to your email. Very simple. It's a guide that gives you all some techniques and tips on how to win your March Madness bracket. Very simple, people. Very simple. Go pick you up one today. And better yet, get you one, get your buddy one. Matter of fact, if you're on TikTok and you subscribe, which I suggest that you do, you can use the promo code and then it's free. So, very simple. Was Jack Ham an outside linebacker? Yeah, he was, Chuck. He was an outside linebacker. I mean, like Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks wasn't a middle linebacker. He was even though he played the will, which is technically inside, but it's not the middle linebacker, if you know what I mean. That's what Jack Ham did. You know, like the middle linebacker, but like the Sam is outside. The Will is outside. We don't, and I know people are going to say, well, Lawrence Taylor was an outside linebacker. That was a different defense, though. 3-4 is different than 4-3. And we're just talking about middle linebackers in general. That's all. Middle linebackers. But Jack Ham was very good, too. Jack Ham was crazy good. Undersized, but knew where to be. Undersized, but knew where to be. We like Urlacher. Urlacher is in that conversation with Kuechly, Patrick Willis, Bobby Wagner. Urlacher is definitely in that. Definitely in that. So, but again, just to recap it, Ray Lewis 1, Dit Buckus 2, Mike Singletary 3, Jack Lambert 4, Junior Seau 5. That's my order. That is my order. So what do we got coming up this weekend that we should be looking forward to, people? We got a couple of March Madness tournaments, conference tournaments. We got a couple of those. How do you subscribe? Man, all you got to do is go to the link in my bio and hit subscribe over there, and you can subscribe. It is very simple. It is very simple. That's all you got to do. You go to my bio, hit link, or hit subscription, or hit subscribe, and it will subscribe. Not hard at all. Not hard at all. Lakers fan here. 6 chips in my lifetime. What a team. Well, I don't know how old you are, but it's going to be a while before the Lakers win another one. Now, they just won one in 2020, and I don't get into it was a bubble title. I'm not that guy. People were there. They were playing basketball. If you didn't want to be there, then you should have left. Nobody was holding you there. Nobody made you be there. You could have left, but you didn't. You didn't. So people talking about, I mentally wasn't there. It was so hard. You're right. It was so hard to be in a 5-star resort, hanging out with your buddies. Now, granted, being away from your family, that's different. That sucks. But you're playing basketball. You're getting all the best meals all the time. And usually I'm pro player. I am pro player. I will take the player side in just about anything. But don't tell me how hard it was to go do that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Where do I rate Zach Thomas all the time? I got Zach Thomas in the top 10 as far as linebackers, man. I really like Zach Thomas. I think he's underrated. And some of you could say the same thing about Junior Seau. I said the same thing. Like, you could probably replace Junior Seau with Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher, Bobby Wagner, Zach Thomas. You could probably replace number 5. But I just think that Junior Seau was so underrated that I put him in my top 5. That's why. I put Junior in top 5. And again, I don't want to try to do, I know that's kind of saying, well, Brien, you're doing the same thing, kind of diminishing how good he was. I don't want to do that because he was very good. Very good. So, over here, Country Dave Snyder on YouTube said, Russ is on a flight to Pittsburgh. I don't know how we know that, but if he is, I'm in for it. Look for Russell Wilson. Sign with the Steelers. My day is getting better. I'm sick, but my day is getting better, people. It's getting better. I will take Russ. I will take him. I've told you, I've moved off the Justin Fields train, and I have jumped both feet on board with the Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh train to basically take over for Baby Hands Pickett. I'm done with Baby Hands Pickett. I will take Russ Wilson, and I call him Russ, not Russell. I will take Russ Wilson over Baby Hands all day, every day. All day, every day. So, you see Kirk with the Falcons. I think if the Falcons don't try to sign Kirk Cousins, they're idiots. And everybody keeps saying, well, you should take Justin Fields. Who would you rather have as a Falcons fan? Would you rather have a guy that's proven himself in the league? Now, don't get me wrong. Kirk Cousins hasn't played well in big games. We know that. But Kirk Cousins is he's more than competent. He's a good quarterback. Has proven himself to be a good quarterback. And depending on how long he wants to play, he's still got some life left. Or Justin Fields, who everybody keeps saying get him on potential. But here's the thing. You don't know if Justin Fields can play. Well, what if he can't? What if he can't play? But for instance, you know Kirk Cousins can play. So do you want the proven commodity or do you want a maybe? Because I'm making a post about that on TikTok later today and YouTube. What do people want? Do you want Fields? And somebody says Fields can definitely play. Have you seen him definitely do that? What makes you say that Fields can play? Let's get into that. What makes you say that Justin Fields can play? Because I haven't seen it. Like I said, we've seen moments. But what have you seen from Justin Fields that says, yeah, I know for a fact he can play? Because we haven't seen that. But we do, and we have seen Kirk Cousins be able to play. We have absolutely seen that. On multiple teams, by the way, for multiple years. So it's not just a one-off. So it wasn't just a one-off that Kirk Cousins can play. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going with. Somebody says, is it the right move for the Bills to release half the roster? I mean, they got to get under the cap, so you got to make some changes. You got to do stuff. The one that I think is going to hurt the most is the Mitch Morse releasing. I mean, the guy was a captain in your locker room, captain of the team, and he was a very good center. I think that's the one that's going to hurt the Bills the most. Now, does that mean they can't go out and get somebody else that can play? Doesn't mean that. Does that mean they can't draft a guy to come in? No. But if you're asking me what's the one move that they have made that's going to hurt the most, that would be the one. That would be the one, is at center. Centers are very important in football these days, but especially NFL football. Not so much in college, but in NFL football, setting protections, yeah, you got to have a good center. You got to have a good, competent, smart center. So hopefully the Bills go out and find them one because Mitch Morse was good. And he's been good. You know, he didn't just have a lucky year or something. He's been good. So, they had to, after the home loss with that payroll. Yeah, that's the thing about the Bills I mean, just like everybody, if you're over the cap, you got to get under the cap. You got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. So, my man Wakan says, I like Kirk. He gives you the stability, plus he can groom a young QB when they draft one. Exactly. Excuse me. Exactly. Like I said, do you want the proven commodity in Kirk Cousins to be your quarterback in Atlanta? And yeah, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for him. You are. Or do you want the unproven commodity with the potential to be good in Justin Fields? To me, if I'm a Falcons fan, I say I want Kirk Cousins because he's proven to be a good quarterback in this league. With Justin Fields, you're just hoping. And hope is fine if that's the route you want to go, but that's what you're doing. You're just hoping that he becomes good. So that's what somebody's coming up with the list. We already did our running back list a few weeks back, Capone. We did that running back list. So usually on Friday, we do a different position. So we've done running back, we've done receiver, we've done linebacker. Or no, we did rush ins too. So, and did we do quarterbacks? I think we did quarterback too. Maybe not. We can always do it again. It's all good. It is all good. Where is Russ going? Hopefully Pittsburgh. Somebody said he was going they saw him on a plane. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't know. But let me ask you all this. If Russ goes to Pittsburgh, where do the other dominoes drop? Like, for instance, New England and Washington, they've got to draft a quarterback, don't they? They got to draft one. And the whole thing about Russ, if he goes to either one of those teams, let's just say he doesn't go to Pittsburgh. Because if he goes to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's trying to win right now. The Steelers got a roster to where they were competent quarterback play from doing some damage in the playoffs. Washington and New England are not. So if he goes there, he knows that, number one, they're going to lose. And number two, he's just a bridge. So if I'm Russ, why do you want to do that? Now, if that's his only choice, that's different. If his only choice is to either go to New England or go to Washington, then, okay, you do. If you want to stay in the league, that's what you do. But if he could go to like the Raiders, or if he could go to Pittsburgh, I'm not even saying the Raiders are necessarily ready to win now, but they got a quarterback opening. But I think the smart move for Russ is, here's the Steelers. They got a roster that can win right now. I just got to go in there and play. If they can do that and he can do that, then good for him. Or maybe Russ is like, you know what? I don't think I can help the Steelers. I'd rather go to Washington and New England and be a bridge quarterback. Now, if he does that, then we're going to know that the guy he doesn't have those competitive juices anymore, or he knows he's not as good anymore. Because if he goes to Pittsburgh, there's going to be a ton of pressure. A ton of pressure. And if he goes to Pittsburgh and he flops, he won't make the Hall of Fame. That much I know for a fact. He's borderline now. If it were me, I would say, Russ, no. But they let everybody in these days in the Hall of Fame. But if he goes to Pittsburgh and he flops, he will not be getting into the Hall of Fame. Not even close. Because then everybody will say that it was a system. That's the only reason he was any good, is because of his defense. And they won't give him credit. So, but we'll see. We will see. So I appreciate everybody coming out today, man. I think I'm going to shut this one down a little early today. A little under the weather, so I'm going to shut this one down. I appreciate everybody coming out here. Again, if you're on TikTok, go pick you up. And by the way, we did hit the goal of 5,000 likes. Now we need 30 follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, please click a follow button and give us a follow. But everybody, go pick you up a Big B March Madness guide. It is very easy. It is only $5. It is a March Madness guide to help you win your bracket, either the Big B challenge that we're going to have, or your office challenge, or your friends challenge, or on ESPN, CBS Sports, wherever it is. Go pick you up one. It's got a ton of analytics. It's got a ton of tips that are going to help you pick up that win. And it's easy. Again, very, very easy, man. $5. If you're on TikTok, all you got to do is subscribe. And if you subscribe to me, then it's free. Use the promo code. The promo code will be right in there. You can pick you up one. Very, very simple. Why not subscribe and get you one for free? Same thing on YouTube. Just click on the link, go to the store tab, and go and pick you up a guide. Again, it's only $5, people. I love everybody. Thank you, guys. We had a great week this week. I appreciate it. I'll do my best to feel better coming back on Monday. Other than that, man, I love everybody. Y'all have a good weekend. Watch some college basketball because we're going to get real heavy into college basketball next week, I can assure you. So watch you some college basketball, pick you up the Big B March Madness guide, and y'all have a great weekend. Aloha.